What the heck is going on, people? I'm Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? Jane Alders, good to see you. Yarn Prepper, how are you? Jennifer Folsom, good to see you. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle, hope you've been well. Just Jones here. I live for now. Glad you're here. Mach, good to see you. Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. It is an honor, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you here. Alex Moore, good to see you. Susie with an S. I like it. Allison Metcalf Palumbo is here. Carry On is here. DS Kitty Diane, member 2 months. Island Hippie Girl. You know what? I am feeling better. Thank you so much. Armine gave me the most beautiful gift. Thank you, Armine. I have it in the other room on the desk, but the next time I'm here, I will show it to you. It's absolutely lovely. Kestrel, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Armine. Sandy Wandy, how are you? Jason P, good to see you. And from Massachusetts, can't think of a better name is here. Still cannot think of a better name. Isa's Granny. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Lori Driscoll. Katie Fulton. I am going to do that. I am going to tell that beautiful girl that you said hello. I promise you. She was smelling like you earlier. Love that. I really do. Lori, good to see you, Lori. Blast from the Past is here. Carry on, my wayward son. Humble and kind. You have missed way too many lives in the last 4 days. Feels good to be here. Much needed from me. I feel your pain. I have missed, I wasn't here yesterday. That was a bit of a bummer. Hello, Lisa Trimble. How are you today? Good to see you. Love, Lisa. Moonstone Crone is here. Lumen is here. Good to see you. Shannon Smith, how are you? Jason P. Tony's Hooter. West Coast Fancy Nancy. Fancy Nancy of the West Coast variety. Hello, Snotface. Told everyone about how awesome Tommy is today. Wow, that's a kind thing to say. That was a very cool thing to say, Snotface. I appreciate it. Third Eye Open, good to see you. I am feeling better. I really am. Catalina, good to see you. I love that name, Catalina. They make a boat by the same name, you know, Catalina Yachts. I wanted one really badly. I ended up with a Hunter sailboat instead, but I really wanted a Catalina. They're really, really lovely. On KK, Karen Pooley, good to see you. Joanne Ventrilla, good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. Wilford. Hello, Wilford Harry. Humble and kind. Could you think of 2 better things to be, truthfully? You know, we're not always in the kindest of worlds. Mary, good to see you. Robin Miners, how are you? Charlie Muffins is here. Love Charlie. Liz Tricks. Muffet Lou. Hello, Anna. Good to see you. Yes, Meredith Lynn is here. Hello, Meredith Lynn. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hot Peps is here. Mary Barons. I'll tell you what. I'm feeling considerably better than I was yesterday. I spent some time in the sun. We went to a farmer's market, had a great time, but hey, Panda Kelly, when it was over, I felt like somebody had beat me. Copper Top, good to see you. I love a Sunday night with you. I'm glad you're here. Drayston, glad you're here as well. The 143 variety as well. Diane, has it been that long? Well, I am really glad that I had to watch a playlist. Hello, Noel. Blessing to you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I felt like I had the crap kicked out of me, and I came home and laid down, and within maybe 10 or 15 minutes, my head started to hurt. Hello, Debbie P. My monk. Within a few minutes, I got a headache that honestly got to a point where I was in the child's pose. I don't know if you know yoga, but I was in the child's pose on the ground with my head just going thump, 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 like a 4-stroke motorcycle. It was awful. And heat stroke. That's what Quib said. And you're both probably right. Indigo Insights Scientology. All right. Indigo Quinn on my new Scientology focused channel. Well, good for you. Good for you. Someone put a link up to that new channel. The more the merrier, man. The more the merrier, man. Just saw Def Leppard, Eighth Row. Music is great for the soul. It was such a hypnotic experience, dream come true to see them. You know what, Catalina? I saw them after the death of the first guitarist, and the one armed drummer was there. If you saw the one armed drummer, uh, that's something to behold. He lost an arm. He was a pro drummer for the band, and he lost an arm. It's not funny, but what's funny is that he taught his legs to do what his arm did, and the guy continued to drum, and is just incredible. He does it with one arm and two legs, and he's got a whole different setup because he's got to do with his legs what his arm used to do, and it is a freaking it's something to watch. It really is. The guy's incredible, man. He's such an incredible drummer. And I saw them, Catalina, and really, really enjoyed it. Oh, Isaiah's granting. I am so sorry. Thoughts and prayers for you. Son will have his 5th heavenly birthday tomorrow. Well, thoughts and prayers. That's hard. It really is. That's hard. And you know what? On the scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10. Right? It doesn't get any harder than that. And we talk about it a lot here, but it doesn't get it doesn't get resolved. You don't get closure, right? You just learn to live with it. But I love you, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're not suffering in silence. Thank you. Ivy's mama. Need a falcon hat for. Here's the thing. I have a falcon hat here. No, I don't leave home without it. I have a falcon hat here. But and it did put it in its place. It stopped it. But by the time I got it on, I had to look for it. And by the time I got it on, I was pretty well progressed into it. And the one real shining spot though was that you have to take those off and put them in the refrigerator. I don't know if you've ever used one, but hey, Gamer Jackie, good to see you. You have to take those off and you got to put them in the refrigerator. And when you do that, right, obviously you don't have it on for a while. And I was on the ground in child's pose, and Moose was just the most affectionate animal you have ever seen. Came up and just ground his head into me for probably 30 minutes. I mean, this cat just came and headbutted me. And it was, I don't know if it knew I was hurting or what, but it was so kind, because normally he likes to nip at you a little bit, but he was very, very kind to me. Absolutely saw him. He lost it in 81 and trained himself to continue on. I'm so glad you got to see them too. Power Mania flashback tour. Nice. Nice. I saw him in the 90s. I had this really sick setup in the 90s, right? Where one of my best friends, admittedly, my best friend is a word that I used to throw around pretty loosely when I did dope. But this was a guy that did a lot of drugs. Hold on one second. Dory, what a beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Kristen Melinda, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. I got to think about what I was about to say because I lost my train of thought. And usually I lie and I keep talking and I pretend that didn't happen, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to try to stall to get back to what I was talking about. Maybe somebody can remind me. Bonnie Lou, how are you? Weasel Smokes. Bonnie. Kristen Melinda. Kristen Melinda, I'm glad you're here. Kristen Melinda shared an experience with me. Thank you. Now I know what I was talking about, Catalina. Shared an experience with me, Kristen Melinda, and about treating people that sometimes aren't that much fun to treat. And it's a challenge. It's not that it's not fun, but it's a challenge. Yes, I was talking about my best friend. Thank you, Franklin MC. Good to see you. So I used to do a lot of dope with this dude in Houston, Texas, and he had a hustle, one of the absolute great hustles of all time. He ran a concert security company. So when Pink Floyd would come to town, they would hire 300 security guards for a concert. And every one of them was a volunteer from the college. He would go around college. Scooby, good to see you. He would go around college and say, hey, you want to see Pink Floyd? You get a free concert t-shirt, says security on it, and they sets them up in there. And then at the end, stick around because we pay you $50 an hour, which is what he bills the concert security company for them. Nobody sticks around. When the concert starts, everybody starts taking their shirts off and dancing and partying or whatever, and security tends to disappear, the vast majority of them. And he kept all the money. It was a great hustle. But I got to see everybody and their brother front row center. I mean, everybody, every concert that came to town, I got to see front row center. It was a really great gig. Queen of Awkwardness, good to see you. I was telling Quibs the other day, the Hell Freezes Over tour. I saw it on Johnny's birthday. I flew my brother down for the birthday party. Wear a hat in the sun, son. You know what? Great advice. Here's the thing, too. I got hats. I just, it's stupid. I have nothing. I can't even say anything smart. Annika's mom, good to see you. Cooking with the grandma is here. I'm glad you're here. You know, I can't even say anything smart. I have no defense. I have absolutely no defense. How do you like that? I can't even go anywhere with that. I'm almost embarrassed about it. I really am. I know better. You know what I mean? I really know better. Yeah, Hell Freezes Over on Johnny's birthday with Melissa Etheridge opening up for him. Man, it was good. The concert started with Steve Miller, then Journey, with Steve Perry, of course, and Def Leppard. Wow. Did they do Abracadabra? I'm asking because Quibs is not a fan of the song Abracadabra. She tears it apart. I love that song, but she hates it. She doesn't get the words right either. She thinks she does, but she doesn't. She thinks she's pretty funny. She is kind of funny, actually, but she does get the words wrong. Hello, Heather Clark. Good to see you. Cup of coffee. How are you? LA Mac. Good to see you. Vixen, what's happening? And you know what? Now I know that she's not listening, because if she was listening, she would have come in and yelled at me. I promise you she would have. Would have been a really, really likely choice. You're seeing ELO next weekend? Oh, man. What a great band. Any advice for me other than getting a actual full-time job? Living with people who put you down more than they build you up. You're living with people who put you down. And you're gonna. I'm lost on the actual getting the full-time job. Is that what it would require to move out? You mean? Cat yoga is a thing. Boy, I ought to be doing cat yoga. Yes, garbled lyrics are hysterical. Here's the thing. Anytime this is worth talking about, right? Because more often than not, they played Abracadabra, and he made mention of Eminem and how he gave Eminem the original track for Nightbox. Nice. Yes, Eminem did just use it, and it's a great song. It's a great song. And now I know that now I know my girlfriend's not listening, because if she was listening, she'd have come in to crap all over the song. It really is a good tune, though. It really is a good tune. So here's the deal. I actually have some insight in this, and I'll tell you why. Sadly, if you spend 13 years behind bars, you're going to live with a lot of people. And I did, let's see, 23 months, 24 months in the special management unit, the SMU. And in the SMU, you only get out for an hour a day, Monday through Friday. You leave your cell in handcuffs. You go to a cage in handcuffs, right? They unhandcuff you in the cage, and you can hang out in there with a couple of other guys, and then they bring you back up, and that's the only time you're getting out of your cell ever. That's it. So you spend an ungodly amount of time with the person that you lose the lottery or win the lottery and get as a roommate. There's nothing you can do to go, hey, I don't really get along with this dude. Is there a chance that maybe I could get a different person to live with? That's not an option, right? It is not an option. So if you don't like your cellmate, you just fight him, which is an awful life, right? It's a terrible place. And if you decide that, okay, I don't like this guy, I'll just beat the crap out of him to get a new roommate, you have to start from day one in that terrible prison, which you got to do 2 years to get out of, right? So I really had to get along with some people that were really hard to live with. The first cat that I moved in with, his name was Donald Scott Taylor, and I can use his name because he's no longer with us. Uh, but he was a lunatic. He was an abs, and I'm not being cruel. This guy was not right. He had some really serious things going on. He was a convicted killer who was doing life in prison, and he had literally chewed the ears off of the last several cellmates that he had lived with before I got in there. I'm not joking. Like, he had the paperwork for the write ups and everything else. I saved those write ups. I still have them. They're not mine. They're his. But I saved them because it was the most unbelievable thing. When he showed them to me, I said, "Man, can I keep these?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Because no one's going to believe I lived with somebody that chewed the ears off." He chewed the ears, right, off two cellmates. And he was not a big dude. He was dangerous. And I sat down with him that day, right? And I had to say, you know what? This is going to be a tough living arrangement because I'm not getting my ears chewed off. So we're going to have to come to some kind of an agreement. And I'll be honest, the environment I was in, I kind of grabbed him by the throat and told him that I intended to leave there with my ears. But more often than not, it just took diplomacy. It took sitting down and saying what you need from people. And if the people that you're with are putting you down more than they're building you up, my first line of defense would be to talk to people about that. Occasionally, as people, we don't realize that we're doing stupid crap to others, right? This is real. This comes up in my life all the time. This is something that I struggle with. I spent 13 years locked up. And when you're in prison, there are certain things that are really valued, right? And you know what one of them is? Not talking, right? People that don't spend a lot of time running their mouth tend to be really popular behind bars. People that run their mouth a lot tend to get into fights, and they're not very popular because people don't feel like hearing everyone's life story around the clock, right? So I spent 13 years not talking much. And the people that I talked to were a small group. And even then, there wasn't a lot of deep conversation. I read nonstop. If I had a cellmate, usually they either loved me or hated me. If they were the kind of people that like to talk, I was not a good cellmate because I would just get into a book, start reading, and ignore the person that I lived with. Every once in a while, I'd get a guy that did the same thing, and we would be in bliss, right? Until something came up and someone would get in trouble, and then, they move you. But I lived with a guy for 2.5 years. That's all we did. But in every one of these circumstances, I had to try to communicate to individuals, to I don't know, as little as possible. Honestly, as little as possible. And then you get out into the real world, and you can't live that way. And the people around you that you care about expect you to be a more social person. And what's really a bummer is I used to be a ridiculously social person. A lot of it too was because I was wasted, right? You're the life of the party when you're on dope. It's not a hard thing to be really into it. It's one of the reasons that people that you see a lot of dead rock stars from heroin. It's not an accident, right? It puts you into a very relaxed state. And I worked standing up in front of people. That was what I did for a living, right? When I wasn't robbing banks. I worked as a public speaker. When I had a legit job, that's what I did. And afterwards, you're kind of forced to be social, right? You're kind of forced to hang out with at least a percentage of the people that were watching you for a period of time afterwards. And I don't know. I think the dope made that a lot easier, but going to prison and then giving up the dope and all of that while I was in. When I got out, I was a different person, and it's hard. It's especially hard if I run into people from my past, right? Because I'm sure I've made most of you laugh once or twice, right? Probably more so when I'm with Quibs because we over here we tend to be a little bit more serious, but I was kind of expected to be the life of the party. If that makes sense. I was the person that made sure that if people weren't talking, I'd take care of it. I was gonna be talking on the streets. It was just way different. And then I went to prison and just completely changed who I was. Hey, Shauna B. And I feel like sometimes my loved ones don't get the attention that they should from me. because I'm not good at it anymore. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Hey, Sonia, good to see you. Um, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm learning. I'm working to get back uh, to get back into the swing of it. Kristen Melinda says, "Come to Dallas and say you were in the SMU, and people will just think you went to private college." Yeah, I know. There's a lot of joking around about the SMU. They make sweatshirts because the SMU, there were three of them in the United States, and you wanted to go to any one of those three that wasn't Lewisburg, because Lewisburg was just bad. Lewisburg had 6-man wreck cages. So instead of being safe, every other place had 2-man wreck cages. So you and your cellmate went outside and went into a cage together. So yeah, you're outside, but the only person that can hurt you is in the cell anyway. There's no reason for him to hurt you outside. He could have hurt you inside. Well, Lewisburg, they put 6 people in a cell. I mean, in a cage. So now it's just sadly, it's human nature with people like that. That if you put 6 of them in a cage, they're going to fight, and it never stopped. It was just around the clock kind of butchery. It was a really, really ugly place to do time. But Lewisburg is called the Big House, right? That's the nickname, and it's really odd because everywhere in the BOP you got to wear a uniform, right? They all wear uniforms. And you don't carry a weapon unless you're a DRT team. That's the people that come in if there's a riot or whatever. You carry pepper spray, right? But you don't carry a taser unless you're DRT. At Lewisburg, every cop carries a taser, every cop carries pepper spray, and every cop carries a billy club made of metal. No shit, right? And on top of that, they don't wear a uniform. They wear sweatshirts, and the sweatshirts will say stuff like the Big House, Lewisburg, right? Abandon all hope. I'm not kidding. Abandon all hope says on the shirt. Like they think this is the funniest shit in the world. And the other one that they wore said it was like the North Face. It had the North Face logo on it, except it said the Big House instead of the North Face, and they wear those. But so a couple of guys who got out made SMU class of 2011, SMU class of 2012, SMU class of 2013. And when you look at it, it looks like an SMU sweatshirt from the college. But when you get up closer on it, it says it says Special Management Unit, the Big House, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Lewisburg's a famous prison. That's where every gangster that ever got sent up went. Keith Lego. You just watched Johnny eating Charlie Mullen's cowboy candy. Nice. I'll tell you something fascinating. I don't talk about my brother's channel a lot over here because when most people aren't over here, don't chase the heat, right? But my brother's channel is called Chase. He's a pepper eater. Johnny's fascinating because there aren't too many people on earth that have eaten more hot things than my brother. There just aren't. I mean, there are people that that do this and do what he does, but Johnny does this 365 days a year and has been doing that for so long. It's incredible. He just burns the crap out of himself every single day. And the other day he ate the hottest pepper he's ever had. And that just doesn't happen. Like it's very rare that he'll say, this one floored me. And he actually called me when he was done eating it. And he said, everything I thought I knew about hot just changed. Freaked me right out. I want no freaking part of that avocado. That hot pepper, man, I don't want any part of it. I'm terrified. I'm not even joking you. I'm terrified. Go back and watch some of the videos of Johnny torturing me. Mischief, good to see you. He does torture me. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Yes, Keith, I probably made you laugh with the Systroming videos. The funniest videos I think that Johnny and I ever did were certainly the Systroming videos. Reconnecting. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, this is something I'm struggling with. So I thought I would come on here and talk to you guys about it. I think that no matter how much sobriety you have, there are those days where it can creep up on you. Damn straight. Your brother almost passed out once from eating a ghost pepper. Wow. Yeah. My brother could eat 25, 30 pounds of those. He's a circus freak. He really is. My brother eats the hottest peppers on earth, and he eats a bunch of them. He'll eat a half a dozen or a dozen and talk through it. But this one floored him. Like Johnny doesn't even make a face, right? His superpower is that no matter how hot the pepper is, he can talk to you through the entire thing. And man, I was watching this one, and Johnny was rocking back and forth. Like I've only seen him like that a couple of times ever in my life. It was something to behold. It really freaked me out. He's like, you got to try this pepper. I said, you got a better chance of seeing God in sunglasses than me trying that pepper. I'm telling you, he is. Well, if you're Charlie Mullins knows, all the chili heads here know, Johnny has been hurting me for a really long time. Oh no. Can we get some prayers for Helena Flock of Seagulls? In bed at the moment. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, Hot Peps knows what I'm talking about. I mean, this ain't no joke, man. Really, really hot stuff. You can go back and watch videos of me, covered in sweat. Hey, Mitch Palacio, hotter than a Primatali. Can you believe that? Hotter than a Primatali, hotter than a chocolate Primatali, hotter than anything, man. It blows my mind. But he said it's the hottest thing that he's ever eaten. Hottest thing he's ever eaten. We'll be hearing a lot about it because the guy's handing the seeds out to anybody that wants them. Jennifer Folsom says, I wouldn't be able to be in the same room with that pepper. I had a really very, very good friend from Australia that came and visited with me. And I was eating hot peppers with him. And there were, I don't know what the deal was with these peppers, right? I don't know what the deal was. But I said to him before we went going, I said, hey, I know you don't eat as many hot things as my brother. Hey, Roberta, as my brother and I do, right? We're kind of, I mean, we're at this point kind of known for being stupid with hot stuff. So I said to him, I'll do 2-1 or 3. I don't remember whether it was 2-1 or 3-1 to whatever you eat. I figured a guy'd eat two peppers. He ate like 8. And I ended up eating like 16 super hots. It was awful, man. It was awful. And it burned my mouth, went through all the stuff, had the cramps, whatever. And then a day later, a solid like 24 hours later, I pulled over on the highway. V-Bombs, good to see you. I thought I was having a heart attack. I really was. I thought it was. And then I realized I'm sweating. My heart's not racing. I'm like, man, I got calf cramps. I don't know how it was possible because it literally took 30 hours. But I had calf cramps that were debilitating. Usually when I get calf cramps, Johnny's nearby somewhere so that he can film it. He gets a kick out of that. Big brother stuff. Big brother stuff. He's been doing it to me forever. Roberta says, hit that like button, and I'll ask you to go a bit further and maybe hit the subscribe button. Seeing as 30% of you don't ever hit the subscribe button. I figured the reason is that's the 30% of you that hate me. Keep coming back. Hit thumbs down. I do appreciate your coming by. The haters pay the bills. You guys never miss a show. No. I don't want to bring anyone else down here. My life is a burden. I'll sign off and watch replay later. No. You can be yourself here now. No one's giving you any crap. Humble and kind. What seems to be the problem? There's no reason to leave. Honestly, I'd rather you stick around. It's up to you, though. You can definitely catch us on... Well, here's where you come to open up and say, I'm feeling bad, right? Not suffering in silence would be a really good idea. I promise you. It works out. 30% could be watching on TV. Well, no, that's a point. That is a point. We do have some people that watch it. No, you don't have to be a negative Nancy. Look, here's the thing, people. Pay attention, please. I'm only going to say this another 2,000 or 3,000 times. This is the place to come and open up. And sometimes that requires not being the most positive person on planet Earth. I think you'll find that you're not going to get too many people here to crap on you for it. And you know what? Not being a woe is me kind of person and doing the stiff upper lip stuff, you know what? It works for some people. If that makes you happy, that's great. the vast majority of people I know, it doesn't make them happy, right? It goes back to that concept that we talk about all the time when we feel an emotion that we don't deal with. Yeah. When something's going on and you're not bothering to deal with it, it's that closet that you're just stuffing shit into with your foot, right? You just continue to put stuff into this closet with your foot and lean in there. And I promise you, eventually it kicks the thing off the door. Or the other image that I kind of like is that when you have that inside you and you're suffering, and we all know what it feels like to suffer, whether you're a drug addict or you've ever touched a substance in your life, doesn't much matter because suffering is universal. Trauma is universal. The things that drive you to do drugs, those things are universal. Drugs are just a symptom. There are people who eat for the same reason, right? There are people that do all kinds of jacked up stuff and have no idea why. People who use porn and masturbate 6 times a day, right? There's no difference whatsoever. That person is doing that for brain chemical, right? For real. I'm working with several people, usually at any given time, but currently I'm working with several people who porn is literally destroying their life. Reese is doing fantastic. We were just up at her mom's place here in Bucktussle. We went up to see her mom. So, and Hux was tagging baseballs up there. He brought up was smacking balls out into the field. It was a good time. We're having a good time. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no matter honestly, the other illustration, and it's the one that I think I like the best, is that if you're suffering, if you have something inside that's hurting, it's going to get out, right? I recommend journaling for those people who feel like they don't want to be a burden. Well, you better unburden it to somebody, right? Honestly, you don't want to bum us out here. I get it. I get it. I respect it too. You don't want to do that. I get it. But get a friggin' notebook and start writing it down because it's going to leave your body one way or another. It's going to leave through your hand. It's going to leave through your mouth, or it's going to tear a friggin' hole in you to get out. That's been my experience. It has. Holly C, good to see you. You're not late. You're just fashionably, yeah, you're late. You're good though, don't trip. Nobody's mad at you, right? Jason P will tell you. Look at that. But you follow me? Nobody's going to crap on you for that. Not here. This is one of the least judgmental places on planet Earth. I'm proud as hell of that. I really am. I'm proud as hell of that. You know, Mock, there are some places in the country. We happen to have one in the other town that I live in Tucson, Arizona. Absolutely humbling. Glad to have you here. I mean it. Yeah, we have a place. They don't call it a shelter. They won't let you. Right? They call the people their guests. It's one of the most unbelievable facilities. I went and toured it with Johnny, and we did a video on it the same day. And we were clowning on these people, right? It became like a Saturday Night Live sketch because the place had everything, right? Literally everything. So my brother would go, "What? No weight room?" And the guy goes, "Oh no, we got a weight room." And he takes us down the hall, and it's got this this whole setup. So he's like, "Yeah, everything but a barber." And he's like, "No, the barber shop was." It literally was a joke. Every single thing that you could ever want in one place. The work that they do there to take people from what they call not having a home to having a home. That's the terminology there. Every goal is to bring somebody in who does not have a home and get them to where they have a home, and their success rate's incredible. It really is. And what I thought was one of the coolest things I've ever seen is if a person fails out because of drugs, you don't get kicked to the street. You get taken to a different facility, right? You test positive, and they test everybody every day. And if you test positive, it's not get out of here. You're screwed. Good luck on the street. That's where it was in Reno. That's how Reno built their shelter. If you're not clean, you can't be in there. It's like, holy crap, no one's clean. That's why they're homeless, right? People without homes normally have a drug problem, right? Or mental illness. Those are the two number one causes. So, but this place says, oh no, you failed. Okay, we take you to the other facility. That's where we work on that. And then when we get you stabilized to where you're not doing drugs, we bring you back here and start working through the process of getting you employment, doing all. It's absolutely a beautiful thing. A stiff upper lip almost killed a ways back. While in psych ward, my mom told me to just smile and you'll be fine. Stay humble. Wow. You know what, Lisa Trimble? Thank God, right? Honestly, because that's frightening. It saves lives. It does. It's called the gospel something outreach. And here's the thing: they don't shove God down anyone's throat. They were very, and by the way, I love God, but to those who don't, they don't shove God down anyone's throat. You're not required to attend any. You're required to attend classes. They don't have to be religious, but there are classes you have to take, and it's all toward vocational training and things like that. A lot of people, though, do take advantage of the religious part of it. There's a lot of people that get into it, which, and you know what? I'm all for it. You can not believe in God, you can hate God, you can do whatever. If you do what I do for a living, you pray every person that comes to you believes in God, because the success rate is just, yes, it is. There's no way to deny it. The success rate is higher among believers. I don't know why that is, right? What do they call it? The opium of the masses, or the opium of the what? Okay, so maybe it is, right? Maybe religion makes it easier for people to stay sober, but the success rate is considerably higher with people who claim a higher power. So makes my job easier. But I don't care what you believe in. As long as you believe, you can get sober, right? I don't care what you believe in. I don't. I have no time. Honestly. You know what? Susie with an S. Thanks for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing that with us. I would I would put a slightly different spin on it. I would. And I know that this is the hardest thing in the world, honest to God. So I apologize before I say it, but fortunately, your daughter's looking at 30 days in jail. County jails are really hard places to get dope. They are notoriously hard places to get dope because they can control it a lot easier. It's not like visiting and all the kind of stuff that they get in prisons. It's usually a lot less dope in county jails. It's usually not such a bad thing. I know it's not fun. It really isn't, but she is safe tonight and she'll be safe for 30 days. And if she goes directly from there to a treatment center, that's her best, really her best option. It really is. That's the best chance of success. Sorry. Yeah. You know what? Thank you for opening up. Um, and Lena, good to see you. Hey, Kathy Ann, what's happening? The modest with the mostest. Sonia, good to see you. You want to hear another fun one to people? I don't know where my phone is. Got any idea what that does to me? I don't know where my phone is. And I don't mean like it's somewhere I've missed, like I don't know where my phone has been gone for hours. I have no idea where my phone is. Hey, little brother, just wanted to pop in and say I love you. Life has been a real shit show the last couple of days, and you ground me. Hockey John, you have a very similar effect on me and a lot of other people. You know that? I mean it. That's a real talk. Uh, you are a class act, and my girlfriend literally loves you. If my girlfriend loved you anymore, I'd bummed out. For real, Quibble absolutely loves you. Kristen Kruger, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Humble and kind. Um, I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this because recently I've made mistakes on this and I don't want to make one, right? Because this is not my wheelhouse. And in the past, I have doled out advice in this department, and it's not my wheelhouse. Right? It was pretty easy for my girlfriend because I showed up and I was in the basement. Right? I was in a place to provide protection. But my understanding from the professionals is that you have to be very careful with what you look up because phones, like weird people, and people in bad relationships have people that look on phones. If you're going to look anything up, you got to do it from libraries. Like I've really learned a lot recently about how little I know about how to get somebody safely out of the situation. but there are people out there that do know. And if you can get to a library, if you can go to a place where you know that you're safe using an electronic device that no one's going to see, then you can research some of these programs, because honest to God, some of the best programs I've ever seen are in this department. Big Z, good to see you. It's real talk. But I know that you have to be really careful, and I'm not. Little Mink, good to see you. Well, good. Do you know something? Got rid of a toxic friend today? How good is that? Good for you, little Mink. Florence, good to see you. Diane, what's happening? No, you know what? You're killing it. That's how it ought to be. If you have toxic people in your life, I'm sorry. You cut them out. Cut them out. I got no room, man. I got no room for any of that in my life. I had somebody, Sonia, good to see you. I had somebody reach out today. And say, hey, there's a video out there of you. I said, I love you, man. And I'm guessing you never saw the videos where I talk about this. I don't look at it. I don't care what they said. I don't look at it. So telling me about it ain't going to benefit me, right? Now, and I said to the person very, very kindly, and I know you're doing this from a place of love, right? I know you're doing this from a place of love. The next time you do it, I'm cutting you out, right? Because even if you're doing it from a place of love, it brings hate into my world, and I don't need it. You feel me? I don't need it. I will deal with the things that I can deal with, right? I will deal with the things that I can improve. I wish we lived near you too. I really do. Is Spanx behind? Spanx could be. I don't know if Spanky's here right now. Casey, good to see you. Yeah, you know what? That's the first place I looked. The first place I looked. You know what my fear is? Here's my fear. My fear is I drove off with it on a car. Linda the Garden Lady. My fear is good to see it. My fear is that I drove off with it on the roof of my car, and the reason that I fear that is I've done it before. It is sadly a recurring theme with me. And tomorrow, uh, I will try and figure it out. But today, I am not going to let it bother me, because it's been bothering me, and I'm not going to let it. Today is it's not the day. I'll tell you why. Honestly, I've been pretty upbeat, man. You know, Debbie P, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. You know what, Anna? This is a great group of people. Yes, I did, Kristen Melinda, and track it and all of that. Sadly, that's why again. Yeah, Castro, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know what, Kathy? Here's the thing. This is a new. This is another part of my of my. This is just another part of being me. Casey, I will absolutely do that. We've already had that discussion of things that that I will do the next time to make sure that this does not happen. Things I could have done too, by the way, but I didn't, because these are new things. Sandy Bowers, please have a good nap. Love you, and glad that you were here. Thank you for taking time with us. You know something, Kristen Melinda? Kristen Melinda says probably healthy for you to lose your phone. It would not kill me. It would not kill me. It feels like it will sometimes. Honestly, doesn't it? Doesn't it? There's nothing funnier than watching an airplane land, right? I mean, it's like junkies, isn't it? You know what I mean? The airplane lands and the phone comes up like this, and everybody's like, you can see the light in everybody's in everybody's face. I always try to just not touch my phone for like the first 2 minutes, so I look like the cool dude in the plane that doesn't care. Honestly, I know that that sounds cheesy, but it's my goal. I want to be the cool dude in the plane that doesn't care. I want to look at everybody else on their phones like, damn, man. Honestly, like you're checking your likes on Instagram. That's the first thing you got to do when you land. You know, little Mink, that's a really this is a question that you really need to ask a healthcare professional. And I'm not copping out on this one. I'll just tell you why. It's such a case by case thing, and this is weird with every drug. Yeah. Sorry. It's like that with every drug. It's different with every person, and you would just but I would absolutely talk to my doctor. My favorite artist live. That's a great question, B bombs. My favorite artist live. It's such a hard thing to say. Pink Floyd's incredible live, but I'm such a Billy Joel fan. It's incredible. I grew up just with his music. I think I got 52nd Street when I was 6. My sister's boyfriend, who was like 6 years older than I was, had um, he had albums, and I stole 52nd Street from him, and I borrowed it, and never gave it back. But I've been a Billy Joel fan forever, so I really enjoyed Billy Joel. But the Hell Freezes Over was incredible. That was a really good concert. Uh, but I think Floyd puts on the best show. I mean, God help us, they just a production number. I saw him probably 7 times, 8 times. Seen Pink Floyd a lot, and they deliver. The light show, everything about it is just such a production. Really great concerts. But for the yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different. The Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead was the most fun. You know, they weren't. They certainly weren't the best concert, right? Uh, I mean, I saw some bad Dead shows. Deadheads hate it when you say that, but I saw some bad Dead shows. They weren't always on. They had some. I saw Jerry tune his guitar once for hours, tripping, and just could not seem to get it in tune. And he tuned it until the entire band wanted to kill him. I thought Bob Weir was going to kill him. And people talk about that show like it was great. That show sucked. It was awful. Really was. But Stevie Ray Vaughan put on a hell of a concert. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan was pretty damn incredible. But yeah, that's a really hard one. That really is a hard one. But no, you know what? It isn't a hard one. It was a Billy Joel show. It was a very expensive concert that when I worked as a public speaker, I bought the tickets to. He was doing these really teeny, I mean, basically like large bars, you know what I mean? Like he was doing places that seat 500 people, and you pay a crap load of money for your tickets. But he takes questions from the audience and does things like that. And it was remarkable. I had so much fun at that show, and actually was able to ask the cat a question or two. And that was probably the most fun I ever had seeing an artist. That was great. And then the Grateful Dead was a lot of fun, but that's probably had a lot to do with I mean, by way of full disclosure, I sure as hell was doing a lot of drugs back then. Oh, no, no, you gotta look. You really gotta look. Oh, mischief, thank you. What a kind thing to say, man. What a beautiful thing to say. No, you gotta check them. You really Myers Girl, good to see you. You really have to check them because I get a kick out of this. I'm not kidding either. The vast majority of them are going to Instagram, Facebook. Most of them are checking social media. Most of them are not making phone calls. We have that stuff long established. Like when I fly, Quibs knows what airlines I'm coming in on. right? She's got it in the phone. It'll tell her if I'm late or on time. Izzy E, good to see you. It tells you all that stuff these days. You know what I mean? So now the people that are grabbing their phones, it trips me out. It really does. SG, how are you? Glad you're here. I really am. And you know what? I'm glad to be back tonight. I swear to God, people, I don't feel right when I don't do this. I don't know what that says about me. I really don't. I don't know what that Sticks live. You know what? Great concert. I saw Sticks with Dennis D. Young. Saw yeah, great concert. Sticks was good live. Uh Metallica, saw Metallica. Saw the Doobie Brothers. They were fantastic. I saw the Doobies. Um, you know who else was great? Jackson Brown was really good in concert. Loved it. Jackson Brown was freaking incredible. I saw him acoustic. Played about 25 guitars over the course of the concert, but he did all acoustic and it was just freaking incredible. Grand Illusion. You saw the Grand Illusion tour? Oh man, that's great. Black Sabbath with the original members in 99. Wow. You know what, Catalina? I I was really big on shows. Mitch saw Lamb of God. My kid loved it. Kid said Lamb of God was amazing. You got to meet Grace Slick. Did you get to meet Grace Slick in Maui? Mary Barons, where did you meet Grace Slick? Iggy Pop. Look, let's be honest. Iggy Pop has been dead for 20 years. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Iggy Pop's, come on, man. No one's had the heart to tell him, but Iggy's been dead since like 81. GNR, I saw Guns N' Roses 4 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times. Yep. I saw him a bunch. I really like Guns N' Roses. But again, I saw I saw Guns N' Roses when they didn't have good nights too. Yes, I am familiar with that case, the Micah Miller case, and they do need to. Yeah, White Rabbit. It's one of my favorite songs ever. Really love that song. But the reason I ask, thank you, Lisa Trimble. I won't be able to check it until I get off of here. Seventh, good to see you. Yeah, the reason that I asked if you met Grace Slick in Hawaii is because she in Maui is because she's got a art studio or did at one time because I saw her in an art studio there. Hell hath no fury. You saw the Sex Pistols in '96. Green Day, good show. I saw Green Day. Like I said, I really was set up. You saw Jefferson Airplane. Oh man. Yeah, when Axel would abandon 3 songs in, bingo. Or Axel would come out an hour and 45 minutes late, and by then they had literally destroyed the place. You know, those kind of things. You were there for Running on Empty? That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. You know what, Shannon Mac? I bet that was a hell of a concert. Air Supply for your first show? I'm sorry. I bet that was a hell of a concert. I'd be stoked to have that as my first concert. I saw The Clash as my first concert, but I bet Air Supply put on a better show. Honestly, The Clash did like 3 songs that were good, and the rest of the night, they just weren't into it. They really weren't. It was the I'm so bored with the USA tour, and they were pretty bored with the USA. And I saw them at Dartmouth College, which is a kind of a weird venue. This Sunrise Dawn's here. Yeah, I love Air Supply. I could really get into that. Humble and kind, that's terrifying. Um, if you get to a place where you can safely send an email, right? Do it from Do it someplace where there's no chance you could get in any kind of trouble, and send one to tommyscoville@gmail.com and tell me more about the situation, and maybe we can find some people to, but make sure you're safe, right? I'm not trying to get you into a wreck here. If you can get someplace like a library, or you can get someplace, please. It's terrible. Best show you ever saw was Tracy Chapman. You know what? I never saw Tracy Chapman. I don't even think I got a chance to. Stevie Wonder in Wembley? Oh, missed you. Wow. And got moved to the front. That would have been a hell of a show, man. I've always wanted to see a concert in Wembley. I started the boat early. That's on me tonight. I apologize. You know what it is, people? I was honestly, I was a little concerned. Last night I was doing really good right up until late. And then today, like I was outside a little bit again today. I had a hat on, but I still wasn't feeling right. I said to Quibs, I'm like, I'm going early. I'm afraid that the boat will come up and I won't be ready to go. So I'm going to go early. Normally it is always at 7 o'clock Cali time. I went early today because I just did not want to not get this boat in. And you hear me? Listen, I'm so stuffed up. I really am. My head is still not right. I'm sorry, Bruce D, truthfully. Oh, the Ramones? I saw the Ramones. Honestly, I saw the Ramones more than I saw anybody. I don't know how many times I saw the Ramones. I saw Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reefer Band. I am absolutely sick that Jimmy Buffett is dead. Absolutely sick. I had a friend that we used to go pretty regularly, and we were talking about catching Buffett this year, and we're excited about it and everything else. And it just sucked. I saw it coming too. He started canceling some shows. He never did that. Uh, but the Ramones, if you got a chance to see them, you saw Nirvana. Oh wow, I never saw Nirvana. And here's the thing, honestly, everybody's gonna hate me. I just wasn't a fan of Nirvana. I wasn't a fan of Cobain. I'll, probably because he killed all of the fun music of the '80s. It was like Kurt Cobain came in and everything changed, and it went from singing about chicks and cars and partying and to my dad doesn't like me and I'm bummed out. I'm sorry. That's just kind of how I don't know. Everybody's gonna hate me. I was not a fan. I know. Rod Stewart was your first concert? Janet. Gangster. Catalina's gonna hate me now. No, you know what, Helena? It isn't that the Clash wasn't great. That wasn't the right way to say it. Because they were great. They just weren't great. Hold on. Humble and kind. If you get to a place, you can make an email in seconds, right? It's a fairly quick process. You should be able to make an account. You got to see the Cranberries. Oh wow, Bad Company and Damn Yankees. Hell of a concert. Hell of a concert. Shannon Maxwell Air Supply. Nice. You were 12. I would have loved that. I loved Air Supply too, man. I saw Pantera too. Cheap Trick was your first concert. Lumen, you can't go wrong with Cheap Trick. And they are now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I met Motley Crue. I got a chance to meet that whole band. I may have been with somebody that had been providing them with party favors for the evening when they came to Texas. Those boys bought Bolivian marching powder about 6 times, and they were buying enough for a party of 300, and they kept coming back and getting more. It was crazy. Tom Petty, oh man, Van Halen. I saw Van Halen, but I didn't see Van Halen when I would have loved to have seen Van Halen. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle, have a great night. Thanks for spending time with us. You know what? I love talking about music. I really do. Ah, you too kind. You were in your mom's stomach when she saw white suit Elvis. Does that count as seeing Elvis? Yeah, it does. I think it does. You know how many times I've seen Rush, but I always saw him in Montreal. That's where every time I saw him in Montreal. Cheap Trick was incredible. If I could go back and see one concert, right? And this is going to sound nuts, but if I could see one concert with everybody that I can see, the Beatles, everybody else, I would have liked to have been at Budokan for Tricks live at Budokan show. That would have been epic. Music is healing. You know who I saw before he passed? I saw Sublime with Bradley when he was still alive, and that was a pretty good friggin' time, honestly. And they were playing, I shit you not, at a house party. Like it wasn't. It was a house party. There were a bunch of people there, but it was a house party. Kenny Rogers and Dottie West. Wow. You saw Kenny and Dottie in the fourth grade? I saw BB King too. And I saw BB King in a place called, oh, crap. This itty bitty little dive bar in Utah. Had the word pig in it. Pig. I had the word pig in it, but there wasn't 150 people in there. And BB King was in there jamming. It was amazing. Yeah, Cheap Trick at Budokan. I'm telling you. Original Fleetwood Mac. Yep, epic. Again, I saw Fleetwood Mac, and I saw Fleetwood Mac. Actually, I saw Fleetwood Mac pretty close to their peak days. But unfortunately, it was so close to the peak days that she was on a Quaalude when I saw her. I promise you, she was on a Quaalude. She was drooling on herself. She couldn't sing. It was not great. And she was really bad on Saturday Night Live too. I love Fleetwood Mac, but they did some bad shows too. She was real into Quaaludes. That is not a drug conducive to going on stage. You know what? Make it make sense, Lisa. Sorry I'm late. I mean, sorry I'm early. I did this an hour early. I feel guilty to everyone that's showing up at the normal time, but I had to get it in before my head got bad. I knew it was going to happen. Brian Adams opening for Journey. Goosebump. Not bad. Brian Adams opening for Journey in 83. Holy hell, that's a good show. Yeah, Stevie Nicks did a lot of blow too. She really had a lot of problems with drugs. She had a good run with drugs. Yeah. Sharona, my Sharona. You saw ABBA hologram Voyager in London. Where is my friend? I wanted him to see that you saw ABBA. Ricky Lee Jones. It's pretty tore up when I saw her in 79. You know something? Every once in a while, I'll be really honest. So I think before we get off tonight, let's talk about Axl Rose, right? I mean, you look at Axl. Axl was that speed out, looking rock star from like what you were supposed to look. He was the perfect hair band. Everybody in that band was anorexically thin because they didn't eat, right? All they did was drugs, and they looked like rock stars. And now you see Axl, right? So I was in prison, and Axl was getting ready to play in Arizona, and there's a shock jock in Arizona. I can't think of his name. Honestly, he kind of reminds me of Zero Dark Tony. But he was thrashing on Axl Rose for weeks, calling him the Axel Doughboy. All of this, because he definitely got thick and he looked a little like a lot of plastic surgery was done. He said he looked like Carrot Top. He was tearing him up for a couple of weeks, and then they were giving tickets away to the concert. And you were going to get to go with this shock jock and mock Axl Rose. And the shock jock came in on Monday and went, "Oh man," he said, "Axl tore down the house." He said he may not look like he did, but he didn't miss a note. He said that he was better than when I saw him with Appetite for Destruction. Like, I couldn't believe it. But you don't have to look great. You don't have to look great. You just got to be able to hit those notes, right? I'll tell you who I saw that looked tore up was and I won't be able to think of his name because I'm old and that's who I am. Brown-eyed girl. A little help. Yeah, Axel doesn't look like he used to be sure. ZZ Top was great in concert. Catalina says Axel took her 8-year-old heart when she found out a man with long hair could look so awesome. You know who else looked really good back in the day was the dude Sebastian Bach. Honestly, I mean, when his first album came out, he could have been attractive no matter what sex he was. Oh wow! You know what? Drop the microphone. Drop the microphone. Van Morrison, thank you. I saw Van Morrison in concert and 3 in a row. Well played. I saw Van Morrison in concert and he was great. He literally did not miss a note, but he looked tore up. And I saw Sebastian Bach. This is probably not nice, but I sat with Sebastian Bach. He was a judge at the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. And me and a friend were over there and we were judging. You could buy samples or whatever. And he sat next to us. And oh boy, you want to talk about somebody who looked tore up. I mean, looking at him going, that's the dude from the video. Woke up to the sound of pouring. What the hell happened? You know what happened to this dude? Oh man. I'm a boomer, so now I see cover bands. Too many folks at concerts. I'm not mad at you. I saw Jethro Tull. Plays a mean flute. Wow. See that? See that? Charlie Mullins is convinced that if I ate more Vegemite, my yeah. Oh yeah, Sebastian Bach has type 1 diabetes. I did not know. He looked bad. He really did. I mean, I don't know that I look any better. You guys have seen the go look at the infomercials I used to do. I don't look like I did, right? We all get older. You saw Pantera opening for Skid Row. I saw a bunch of Pantera. There was they were doing a Houston thing. They were spending a lot of time down there, and I was getting free shows. I even got backstage to Pantera with Typo Negative and My Years with the Thrill Kill Cult. And I'm not going to lie to you. Someday I'll have to tell that story because that story would take an hour, but it was the most disturbing friggin' events. Anyone currently touring? The Stones, right? I'd like to see. I haven't seen Keith Richards play the guitar at 80. I think I've seen him in a lot of other decades. Come here. Come here. All right, people. I will end with look who it is. Huh? Moosey. He's such a good boy. He really is. He's a good kitty. Faith No More. You want it all, but you can't have it. Def Leppard. There you go. Nothing wrong with Def Leppard. All right, people, I'm going to leave you with Moose. That's the news, and I am out of here. Between now and the next time I see you, reach out there and try to save somebody. Please. And if that somebody is you, get on it. You're in my thoughts and prayers. You know you are.